The forest in my city holds many rumors. Ghosts and strange creatures lurking as soon as the sun goes down. One guy online claimed he saw a huge creature moving through the trees. Another said he heard whispers coming from the forest as he walked. Some even believe a hidden tribe lives there, untouched by the modern world. These rumors intrigued my friends John, Michael, and me 5 years ago.
We were 25 then, and we knew these stories were just myths waiting to be debunked. We always loved exploring haunted houses and abandoned buildings, chasing that adrenaline rush in the dead of night. Of course, we always carried knives for protection, just in case. But until then, the only strange stuff we encountered were the occasional homeless people seeking shelter in those eerie places. Our adventure into the forest was supposed to be just another thrill.
But boy, were we wrong.
On Friday night, we ventured into the woods, ready to debunk these myths. As the flashlight beams cut through the darkness, I felt a strange unease. The dense trees loomed around us, obscuring our view and making everything feel more dangerous. For a moment, I considered backing out, but I didn't want to look like a coward in front of my friends, so I pressed on. While walking, we stumbled upon a cave adorned with strange symbols drawn in a dark red hue, resembling dried blood, around the entrance. The sight of these symbols sent a shiver down our spines. My friend suggested exploring the cave, as it was evident someone had been there before. And so we ventured inside, feeling the temperature drop with each step deeper into the cave. Our flashlight beams revealed more of these unsettling symbols and drawings on the walls. However, apart from these eerie markings, we found nothing else within the cave. We wondered if someone might be playing a prank by leaving behind the symbols, so we laughed it off and made our way to the exit. Just as we neared the exit, the beam of my friend's flashlight caught the figure of someone standing still. This person wore a bizarre mask and stared at us with an unsettling intensity. My friend shouted at the figure, demanding to know what they were doing here, yet it remained silent, eyes locked on ours. Determined not to be intimidated, we figured we could take him down with our knives if needed. As we moved closer, the masked figure slowly retreated, disappearing from view as we exited the cave. Once outside, we looked around anxiously but found no trace of him. Heart pounding, we started to run back the way we came. The forest seemed alive with shadows, and as we sprinted towards our car, figures began to emerge from the darkness on either side. Panic surged through us as we bolted, not daring to look back until we reached the safety of our vehicle. Once we reached our vehicle, we sped away, unable to shake the feeling that we had escaped something far more sinister than a prank. We never did find out who or what confronted us that night. Some say it was a cult, others believe it was something supernatural. Whatever it was, it taught us a valuable lesson, that the thrill of the unknown can quickly turn into a fight for survival. Last year, my friends and I decided to spend a few days at a cabin deep in the forest. This cabin belonged to one of my friend's father, and the last time his family went there was about 6 years ago. We knew it would be a mess and planned to spend the first day tidying up if we were going to enjoy our 4-day stay. The forest was thick and dark, the kind of place where sunlight barely penetrates the canopy. My friend said that there were a lot of fun activities we could do in this forest, including swimming in a lake, hiking in the mountains, and hunting for food. My friend's father had a shotgun in the cabin, as they used it for hunting when spending time there. When we finally reached the cabin, it appeared old and worn among the towering trees. Dust blanketed every surface inside, cobwebs hung like tattered curtains, and an eerie silence pervaded the place, broken only by the creaking floorboards. After spending the first day tidying the cabin and chilling under the pale, eerie moonlight, we woke up the second day, went swimming, then fishing for food, and spent the evening sharing some cool stories each of us had. Everything seemed fine, until night came. I woke up in the middle of the night, jolted awake by a tapping sound at my window. At first, I thought it might be a rat or some other small creature, but the sound grew louder and more insistent. Something wasn't right. So I slowly approached the window and peeked through the curtain. Nothing seemed out of place, but as I lifted the curtain fully, my heart nearly stopped. Staring back at me was a man with a wide, unnerving smile plastered across his face. His eyes were dark and intensely focused on mine, and he held a knife, tapping it rhythmically against the glass. I screamed, waking everyone in the cabin. The man didn't flinch, continuing to try to open the window with his knife. Suddenly, the door to my room burst open, and my friend stood there with the shotgun, aimed and ready. The man's smile faltered, replaced by a look of confusion and then fear. He backed away, then turned and bolted into the woods. My friend didn't fire since he'd never shot at anyone before and was hesitant. But he admitted later that he would have pulled the trigger if the man had opened the window. We stayed awake the rest of the night, the shotgun close at hand, listening to every creak and rustle outside. When daylight finally broke, we packed up and left. We reported the incident to the police, but they never found the man. It's been a year, and I still can't shake the feeling of his eyes on me, that twisted smile haunting my dreams. I've always wondered why this guy persisted in trying to break in, even after spotting me, or what would have happened if we didn't have a shotgun in the cabin. In my late teens, I worked part-time delivering pizzas to pay for college. Weekends were my escape, and camping in the woods was my favorite hobby. There was something about nature, especially the sight of a tranquil pond, that brought me peace. One weekend, feeling adventurous, I decided to explore a new camping spot deep in the forest. As I hiked along the trail, surrounded by towering trees, I couldn't shake the feeling of excitement bubbling inside me. The promise of a secluded pond at the end of the trail sounded like the perfect retreat. Finally, after an hour of hiking, I arrived at the pond and quickly set up my tent. The sight of the shimmering waters was breathtaking, and I couldn't wait to spend the night there. As the sun began to set, I built a campfire and sat back, taking in the beauty of the forest around me. Then, as darkness fell and the forest became engulfed in shadows, I noticed a faint light flickering across the pond. My heart skipped a beat as I realized I wasn't alone. Despite my unease, I convinced myself it was just another camper and tried to enjoy the night. As I lay in my tent, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every sound seemed amplified in the stillness of the night. When dawn finally broke, I decided to investigate the source of the light across the pond. Creeping closer, I discovered the abandoned campfire, its embers still smoldering. Looking across the lake to my tent on the other side, my heart almost skipped a beat when I saw 4 shadowy figures going through my belongings back at the tent. Without hesitation, I fled to the safety of my car, my heart pounding in my chest. As I drove away, I made a vow to myself never again would I venture into the woods alone because things would have gone really bad if I hadn't left the tent earlier.